Greetings, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Inspirational Spotlight. Today we will talk about Earline Budd. Now, Earline is a native of Washington, D.C., and she recalls realizing that she was different around the age of 9 when she started to express her inner woman and often wore her sister's clothing. Now, her family labeled her behavior as freakish and sometimes even called her faggy. Earline stated in an interview she did with Metro Weekly back in 2002, "When I was 13 years old, issues began to arise concerning the way I was dressing. And so I had this physical exam conducted on me at Children's Hospital, and the results showed that I had a chromosomal disorder. I had more female genes than male genes, and that was causing my female tendencies." Because of her family's lack of knowledge and inability to handle the situation, Earline was committed to the court and placed into a program called PINS. Now, PINS stands for People in Need of Supervision, and this was more of a jail than a psychiatric kind of support help. But she spent 4 years there until she was released. Now, instead of going back home, she was rejected by her family, and she faced the issues that a lot of transgendered people face. She was forced to survive through commercial sex work. She was homeless. She intermittently lived in shelters. And in 1991, she contracted HIV. Now, instead of wallowing in her self-pity, which she could have easily done, she used her HIV diagnosis and decided to start her advocacy work within the community. It was from that moment on that Earline vowed to make a difference in the lives of transgendered women and other members of the LGBT community. Earline felt that her HIV-positive status, as well as her experience of living on the streets, she knew firsthand and had a special sensitivity and awareness to the multitude of issues faced by people who were transgender. In terms of her education, in the late 1970s, Earline studied business administration at the Brookline Business Institute. But things took a drastic turn for her in 1994, when Dee Curry, Jessica Xavier, and the late Jean Robinson Bay formed Transgenders Against Discrimination and Defamation, TAD, a group that advocated for the empowerment of transgendered people. These women tapped Earline because of her talents, and TAD would eventually be renamed Transgendered Health Empowerment, which is an organization that's still around. Earline Budd was one of its founding members, and she served as the executive director for several years. Eventually, she would shift into her current position as treatment adherence specialist, where she works with over 50 clients at a time, 75% of which are transgendered and the other 25% are gay or bisexual men. Earline says she has a special mission, and the mission is to the dying, to those who are dying alone without any love or affection, and to those who are estranged from their families. Now, Earline Budd's impact within the community is widespread, both locally and nationally. She has been a consultant for cultural sensitivity for transgendered people. She is a well-known training specialist for nonprofit organizations and governmental entities. She's an advocate for change in her community around transgender issues. And she is an exceptional motivational and educational speaker. But more importantly, she is considered one of America's leading transgender activists. Now, Earline has spent the better part of her adult life becoming an expert and working with what she calls special populations and people living with HIV and AIDS. She has amassed numerous awards, and she has brought lawsuits against establishments that either discriminated against or failed to meet the specific needs of transgender people. And because of her work in 2012, Washington, D.C.'s Mayor Vincent Gray nominated her, and the D.C. City Council confirmed the nomination, and as a result, she was the first transgendered person to be appointed to the city's Commission on Human Rights. This group is responsible for enforcing the city's Human Rights Act. Now, I've had the privilege of meeting and knowing Earline Budd. The only way I can describe her is this way. Imagine someone with a heart the size of their entire body. That's the genuine and loving spirit she exudes with each and every person she meets. She is no less than an angel on earth. But when asked about what she likes to do in her free time, Earline responds this way. She says, "My everyday hobby is the chance, well, to help somebody." Earline Budd, today's Inspirational Spotlight.